It's also interesting when you look at Bible prophecy, because now you have a situation where in Ezekiel, chapters 38 and 39, you have a prophecy which is known as the War of Gog and Magog. And as I describe in the book Epicenter, as we describe in the film, when you do the historical detective work to decipher what those ancient names mean, what you find out is a Russian-Iranian alliance that will form in the last days with a group of other Middle Eastern countries to surround and attack Israel and to destroy her.
Iran's defiant announcement that it's to build another 10 uranium enrichment plants was made by President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad.
نیازمند سایت‌های متعددی هستیم که برای ما سوخت هسته‌ای تولید بکنه. 10 تا سایت جدید حداقل ما می‌خوایم.
We need numerous sites to produce nuclear fuel for us. We shall build.
ویژگی‌هاشو درآوردن، دستشون باز می‌ذاریم تو ایران نقاط مناسب رو انتخاب بکنه ولی کارشو باید برن شروع کنن.
The new facilities will be the same size as our main enrichment complex at Natanz, and work will begin within 2 months. So we shall need to have 10 new sites for developing our enrichment activities.
5 سایت جدید رو اجازه میدیم برن شروع کنن آقای دکتر صالحی. تا 2 ماه 5 سایت دیگر رو هم برای ما بیارن. یعنی مجموعاً 10 سایت جدید ما نیاز داریم برای توسعه فعالیت‌های غنی‌سازی.
The announcement of yet more uranium enrichment plants is certain to aggravate further the tensions between Iran and major powers over the Islamic Republic's nuclear ambitions. It gave the National Atomic Energy Agency back to resolutions censuring Tehran over its construction of an enrichment plant in secret. The head of Iran's Atomic Energy Organization says the new facilities will be built to withstand military attack. The ball is now firmly in the UN's court to decide how it will respond to Tehran's latest announcement. It remains to be seen if Moscow and Beijing will change their stance after so far blocking tough new sanctions by the UN's Security Council. Paul Chapman, Reuters.
Tension is rising between Iran and world powers opposed to the Islamic country's nuclear development program. On Sunday, Iran announced plans to build 10 new uranium enrichment plants in a major expansion of its atomic agenda. That followed Friday's reprimand of Iran by the UN's nuclear watchdog for secretly building a uranium enrichment plant in a mountain bunker. Iran Speaker Ali Larijani on Monday questioned the benefits of remaining within the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, blaming the West for the friction.
If they are seeking a sort of political deception, Iran will definitely change its path. They should decide to choose their path. If they return back to the diplomatic path, they could more easily reach an understanding with Iran.
Russia, who is helping Iran to build at least one of its nuclear sites, is optimistic that negotiations are not threatened. So says Russia's energy minister Sergei Shmatko, who is currently visiting Tehran.
I know the Iranian negotiators are very experienced and very patient negotiators, and we don't need to politicize the current situation. And my reading is that we still have a good opportunity for further negotiations.
U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Susan Rice, joined in the condemnation on Monday, calling Iran's nuclear plans inappropriate.
We view the Iranian announcement as completely inappropriate and further isolating Iran from the international community. We view that, frankly, as unacceptable.
Iran any intention of leaving the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Strategic analysts agree such a move could provoke preemptive attacks against them. Tara Cleary, Reuters.
Turning up the heat on Iran, U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton signals that the era of the U.S. reaching out to Iran may be nearing an end.
I don't think anyone can doubt that our outreach has produced very little in terms of any kind of positive response from the Iranians.
At a news conference with Spain's Foreign Minister Magog, and recently stated plans to build more.
The recent announcement by their parliament that they intend to build 10 or 20 more nuclear plants should raise deep concerns among all people.
Iran says it needs nuclear power for peaceful purposes. The nation's pledges in recent Geneva talks last October wanted a reprieve from further sanctions by the international community, but the clock is ticking. A senior U.S. official told Reuters the U.S. and its allies would decide early next year whether to pursue further sanctions. The United States cut diplomatic ties with Tehran after Iran's 1979 Islamic Revolution. The West suspects Iran's nuclear program is aimed at making bombs, a charge Tehran denies. Deborah Luderbeck, Reuters.
Iran has test-fired an upgraded version of its long-range missile. It's said to be faster and harder to shoot down and can reach distances of nearly 2,000 kilometres. That puts Israel easily within reach. The test-fire will further strain relations with the US and the UN, who have applied strict sanctions over Iran's nuclear program.
A long-range missile test in Iran is fueling the fires of Western outrage. The missile is capable of reaching Israel and parts of Europe. And while Tehran says it's a strong deterrent, some leaders are calling for tougher sanctions. Istanbul Bureau Chief Ivan Watson is monitoring the story for us at the iDesk and joins us now live. Ivan, what can you tell us about the missile?
Well, John, Iran has released images of what it says is this missile on state media, and basically it's described as a two-phase missile using solid fuel with a range of some 1,200 miles, 2,000 kilometers, which would put it in range of Israel, Iran's regional arch enemy. Now, the defense minister for Iran, General Ahmed Vahidi, he said that this increases Iran's deterrent force and that Iran's missile capability is, quote, designed solely for defensive against any country. He went on to say that this will spread peace throughout the region. Now, this is the same Iranian official who last week on a visit to Syria announced that if Israel threatened Iran, that Iran would potentially attack Israel's nuclear facilities. So that's not going to come as much of a reassurance for Israel right now. Now, we've already gotten reaction from European capitals. Britain this missile exercise. Germany's foreign ministry, a spokesman telling CNN that, quote, the reports from Iran are alarming. This is not a step to rebuild trust. Now, I've spoken with some Iran experts, with Jane Defense Weekly. It is not unusual for Iran to conduct missile tests. We do see this every couple of months. One expert interpreting this way, saying that usually Iran carries out these types of tests and makes a big show of them when it feels that it is being threatened. John?
Let me put you on the spot, Ivan. I don't know what experts know about this missile, but the big concern, of course, with Iran's weapons program is that it might have a nuclear weapons program in mind. Could this missile carry a nuclear warhead?
We don't know that right now. It's not entirely clear what the capabilities of Iran's stated position again and again is that it is not pursuing nuclear weapons, that it is trying to develop nuclear technology for peaceful civilian purposes. And again, we have this statement from the Iranian defense minister today saying this is purely for defensive purposes, John.
Ivan Watson in Istanbul. Thanks.